The land I am joining you from today is the traditional land of the Anishinaabe Nation. I want to read you a little bit about this incredible group of people. The Anishinaabe Nation is a political advocate for 39 member First Nations across Ontario. They are the oldest political organization in Ontario and can trace their roots back to the Confederacy of Three Fires, which existed long before European contact. The Confederacy of Three Fires includes the Ojibwe, Odawa, Powhat, and Potawatomi nations. I am on Williams Treaty's First Nations land. The Williams Treaty's First Nations are the Chippewas of Bosoye, Georgina Island, and Rama, and the Mississaugas of Alderville, Curve Lake, Hiawatha, and Scugog Island. These 7 First Nations are signatories to various 18th and 19th century treaties that covered lands in different parts of South Central Ontario. In 1923, the Chippewas and Mississaugas signed the Williams Treaties, and together over the last 98 years, they continue to protect, conserve, and seek to collaboratively manage the land. In June 2018, the Williams Treaties First Nations ratified the Williams Treaties Settlement Agreement with Canada and Ontario. As it relates to harvesting, the Williams Treaties Settlement Agreement recognizes the Williams Treaties First Nations continuing pre-Confederation treaty harvesting rights to harvest fish, wildlife, trapping, and gathering in Treaties 5, 16, 18, 20, 27, and 27 and a quarter. I am really grateful to have the opportunity to live on this land, and I encourage you to research the land that you call home. I use the incredible map created by the Canada by Treaty exhibition team and we have shared some links in the chat. Now over to our artist, MC, and our host for today, Q Rock. Q, you're just muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much. My name is Q Rock. I'll do a very kind of like quick introduction in Anishinaabe Moen. So Ani Anishinaabe, Manitunimin Adishnakaz. Greetings. My name is Spirit Dancing, and I am from Nipissing First Nation. I am part of the Robinson Huron Treaty, and I'm the artist and MC for the day today for you guys on this online event. So a bit of background about myself is I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I grew up in Nipissing First Nation, and basically ever since being introduced to Western culture, I have been using hip hop as the art forms that I choose to communicate in Western culture outside of my own Anishinaabe and Odawa traditional approaches, cultural ceremonies, and teachings. So I was one of many artists who applied for this opportunity to be able to be part of this design. And I was fortunate enough that I was the artist chosen. And I was extremely honored to be able to have the platform that the U of T and the Daniels Building faculty have created. And it's just an extreme privilege to be part of this collective group. Today, we're going to be just getting a chance to meet everyone who has contributed to this project. And I thought it would be really appropriate to like get everyone an opportunity to meet all the artists and all the people behind the scenes in the installation of this design that I've created. So right now what you're seeing is a digital design. This was the actual design that I originally submitted, and it's in honor of the 215 children that were discovered at the British Columbia Kamloops residential school. The children represent children that are being discovered now, the unburied that we are discovering, and they are making the spirit journey back home. Each symbol that is on the left and right hand side is part of the Anishinaabe value system, and also part of our learning system. So on the left hand side, we have the 7 grandfather teachings, and there's 7 rings around the sun shape that I've created on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, where it's the turquoise color mixed with the yellow, red, black, and white, is the medicine wheel of the Anishinaabe. And it's actually the medicine wheel specifically for like this region here. In the background, there is 215 red dots, each one representing one of the children that were discovered. The eagles carrying the two children back to the spirit world to join our ancestors, symbol a lot of different ceremonial influences on our culture. And the eagle definitely signifies how, when we pray and when we smudge, how our prayers are carried to the creator or the great spirit. And on their journey, there's each eagle is carrying a fish for the nourishment that these children will need to make it back to the spirit world. There's a multiple layer of teachings in this design. I really wanted it to be a visual healing experience for everyone involved. And it's actually still an ongoing project. The installation is only partially complete. Right now, we are actually working on the final process of the installment. And right now behind you, what you're seeing now is this is the installment that was, this was the actual, like the photo of after Curtis installed the design. And we're going to be actually meeting all of the people that contributed to this. And in this photo right here is the main reason why I was involved. This is Elder Wabagoon. And it's really it's been an honor and a pleasure to be able to work with Elder Wabagoon, and to just be able to have an elder in Toronto is a blessing, but to also have an elder that I could work with was beyond anything I could have ever imagined. So I'm truly grateful for this experience and this opportunity to work with so many amazing people that all made this happen. The students at the Daniels building have been absolutely just amazing. I really couldn't have done this project without them. And I'm really honored and grateful of their involvement, because it really is important that they do get involved, and everyone can get involved who's eligible. So right now, this is a current shot of what the building currently looks like. I did take in consideration a lot of things, and there's a lot of layers into this design. And it was a really an amazing experience to see it come to life. And yeah, so today we're just going to get a chance to do like our own kind of Q&A with the artists and all the people that are involved and behind the scenes. There were a lot of people, and I felt like everyone should be honored. So without further ado, welcome to the past, present, and future. I guess it's what would this be called? Past, present, future. Sorry, stuck on words. But that's the name of this workshop, or this I want to say demonstration. Sorry, I've been teaching breakdancing for the past 2 weeks, so I'm like, my total jargon of words is not what it normally would be. So I just want to introduce to you the people who are going to be our speakers today. We have Elder Wabagoon, who is our First Peoples Leadership Advisor to the Dean. We have Michelle, who is the Daniels Art Directive. We have Neen and Aiden, who is the Daniels External Relations and Outreach Office. We have Robin, who is at our advisory panel, and we have Carolyn, who is part of Street Art Toronto. And then we have Curtis, who is the installer, who actually put the artwork, the design, and made it come to life by installing it on the windows. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce to you Elder Wabagoon. Take it away.
Miigwech Q, miigwech. Bonjour and the way McGonagall. Hello, all my relatives. Mino Gijigad, it is a good day. I want to wish you all the very best on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Wabagoon Indigenous and Dunjaba, Obishiko Kang, Laksua First Nation, and my home now, Toronto, Mangdodam. So my name is Wabagoon, flower blooming in spring. I was born in Obishiko Kang, narrows abundant with white pine, Laksua First Nation. And Toronto is now my home. And I sit with the Loon Clan. And I want to talk a little bit about how this all came about. And so many times in my life, I had walked, by this building at 1 Spadina, having lived at 666 Spadina Avenue, which is just north of the building, and in the annex. since coming to Toronto in my early 20s, which would be in the late 90s. And in walking by that building, every time my gut instinct was telling me that one day I would do something at this particular site, not knowing or realizing what an impact the building and the north facade window would have on my life. So coming forward to the present, when I saw this Support Black Designers mural, this was well before I accepted the position at the Daniels faculty. I felt that stirring in my gut rising again and wondering, what if we were to have an Indigenous artist do a mural in that window? In 2021, in a conversation about truth and reconciliation with the then interim dean, Rob Wright, he said, let me put you in touch with the Daniels Art Directive, Nini and Aiden of the External Relations and Outreach team, whom you'll meet shortly. This mural answers call to action number 2 in the University of Toronto's response to the Truth and Reconciliation's report. This team, we eat, drink, and sleep this mural, and we love every minute of it. To be gifted with such an awesome team is truly amazing, and I am truly grateful. Everyone is working very hard to share this mural and keep it alive so we never forget the children. While I continuously share this, I share with everyone, stay in the moment and enjoy this very moment. Visions can be quite different. As I go into the future, these visions can take us back into the past. They can keep us in the present. My vision for this mural is to invite all nations to a round dance around the circle. A round dance is a celebration of coming together, a dance of healing, and a dance that moves in the way the earth travels around the sun. That's my future for this mural. So, thank you all very much for listening. And now over to you, Michelle.
Miigwech Elderwabgun. I'm Michelle Ng, part of the Daniels Art Directive, a student-led group that creates workshops, exhibitions, and community art projects. Since this project started with Elderwabgun, Daniels student, staff and students, club executives and members, it has only continued to grow with and because of the community, all of you who make this possible. On Orange Shirt Day, next slide, September 30th, we handed out buttons and stickers for the student body. Q shared his story and announced his mural design. In November, Curtis installed the vinyl exterior, while students installed the red dots on the inside of the studios where they learn and work. This semester, Q is leading art workshops where participants are invited to create their own circles of artwork and text, like these test samples. As students of art and architecture and life, we continue to reflect on and reach towards this opportunity to work with QRoC and many others for truth and reconciliation. This is only the beginning. So what's next?
Thanks, Michelle. My name is Nini Brody, and I'm the Manager of External Relations and Outreach here at the Daniels faculty.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aiden Cowling, and I work with Nini Brody in the Office of External Relations as the Coordinator of Public Programming and Outreach.
I like to say our office, the External Relations and Outreach Office, is the office of fun. We support all the extra and co-curricular activities of the faculty, from exhibitions to events to paid youth programs, and more recently, access or free programs to support youth that might not ordinarily find their way to post-secondary education. We consult with colleagues from around the campus and beyond. Here we're going to list the many people we met along this journey. Our role is to support research planning, submissions of grants, and all the logistics. So on this project, we helped the project team navigate all of those institutional processes and really boring details, but really important details like insurance and safety.
So Nini and I are usually behind the scenes, collaborating with others to help them realize their vision. So we're not totally used to being on camera. That being said, it's really nice to be here with you all virtually and to see so many familiar faces. From the beginning of this project, we have been really lucky to work with some incredible people who have generously given their time and shared their experience. So you'll see on the screen a list of the contributors, which I won't read aloud, but I want to send a huge thank you to everyone who's been a part of this project. Also recognize Imaginative, Street Art Toronto, and the Office of Indigenous Initiatives. And now I'm going to pass it over to you, Robin, from our advisory panel.
Chimigwech, Aiden, Chimigwech, everybody. It's so beautiful to be here today on this beautiful Tuesday. Ani Boju, Wabishkizi Migwankwe, Pichimanomini, Indigenous, Indodum, Nagig. I come from the Otter clan. My name is Wabishkizi Migwankwe, which is white feathered woman. If you ever look on an eagle, on the back of the tail, they have straight feathers, and those straight feathers represent balance for the eagle to soar up high, way above the clouds and the storms, and come below and pick up our medicines and bring them back up, our prayers. So that's what my name represents. Other than that, my name is Robin Rice. I was a current student at Transitional Year Program. And I was invited by Elder Wabagoon and the team to be one of the Indigenous panelists here for this beautiful mural that was put up. And wow, I already have a lot of emotions to really say what I need to say on this. But when I first came and I was a part of this team, it was I was so nervous because I didn't know what to expect. And then when I seen all the beautiful art that was presented in front of me, my spirit was like, and I'm very emotional and very come from the heart. And I let spirit pick up those intuitions that I carry. And when I seen Q Rock's presentation and art, I was blown away. I went right away and thought about my grandmother, who is a 60 scoop survivor. A lot of the elders and seniors and a lot of the youth in community that are affected by intergenerational trauma from residential schools and 60 scoops and day school survivors. And, you know, when the 215 children arose, I was in University of Toronto arguing with students who didn't believe the facts, didn't believe that we as Indigenous people are here to share our story, and we are the reason why our ancestors worked so hard to get us here, you know, and fought for us. And when this mural came up, it was just beautiful because it took me back to Spadina and Bloor, which is just down the street. And that's where a lot of our seniors, residential school survivors are right now. And as a jingle dress dancer in the community, we would go during COVID, we'd go and sit with these elders at the building, these seniors at the building, and dance for them and drum for them and be around them. And it was just beautiful. And I remember sitting in that room with Elder Wabagoon, and me and her were just coming out with tears. I could feel her emotions and mine. And I was like, this is the one that needs to be up there. And it just hit close to me because I do stuff myself in community with my youth to make sure that they understand the history of what happened. And here we are today with this beautiful mural that Q Rock designed, and you know, had the installation from Curtis, which was amazing to watch him, see him dangle off of the building because I'm scared of heights. But it was so beautiful. And the messages to the spirit of the babies and children, that's just even more beautiful. And it related to me because I'm actually working on a canoe building project about the same lines, you know, messages to the spirits of the babies and children who didn't make it home, the ones that are still being recovered. And I have goosebumps talking about it right now. I know that I'm filled with my ancestors around, just as many of us are. And I was just really honored to be a part of this vision, this project. And I was very, very honored to be jingle dress dancing for the ceremony of showing the mural coming into place. I just had so much of my own visions afterwards. So I want to say Chi-miigwech to everybody here today, and Chi-miigwech for the beautiful mural that's up. Miigwech.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carolyn Taylor with Street Art Toronto, and Robin, I was incredibly moved by your remarks. As I said, I'm with Street Art Toronto, and you know, we always say at Street Art Toronto that it really does take a vision to get each of the projects that we do off the ground. And so the first thing I want to do is just express our gratitude to Elder Wabagoon, to Q, and to others at the Daniels faculty for welcoming us as a partner in this project. I'd also like to shout out the Start Village, my colleagues, Catherine Campbell, Jason Campbell, and Michael Hutchinson, who is currently on a leave, and our visionary manager, Randy McLean, as well as Brooklyn Doran, who is the voice of Start, all of who, although they're not here on screen today, very much played a part in our partnership in this magnificent, powerful project. One of the things that makes the START program so unique, in my opinion, is the holistic and integrated system of support that we offer artists through our suite of 10 programs and career ladder, all of which give artists cumulative creative opportunities to grow. And we support artists through their growth in the workshop, through workshops and skills building sessions and mentorships and so on. And so I think, you know, really looking at QROC's trajectory from smaller scale mural projects to this incredibly meaningful and powerful monumental installation on the Daniels building is just such a wonderful example of this holistic system in action. QROC and Elder Wabagoon are part of a larger community of Indigenous artists, elders, and knowledge keepers that we work with at Street Art Toronto, and most importantly, from whom we continue to learn. And so as we celebrate START's 10th anniversary during this year of public art, we'll be announcing more projects developed in relationship with First Peoples, also and including the second edition of a book of START murals by Indigenous artists, together with the teachings in those murals shared in the artist's own words. And so thank you for including us in this magnificent project. And with that, I will turn it over to Curtis.
Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate your message. Thank you, everyone, for including me in this project. And from the get-go, I was able to see how beautiful the potential and scale of this artwork would be from the small digital design that I initially saw. My name is Curtis Randolph. I am an interdisciplinary artist based in Toronto, as well as an art technician. And for this job, I've been able to contribute the installation process for QROC's mural. And this was the first time that I really had a deep connection with the artist and installing an artwork of this scale and of this gravity by the way of vinyl installation, which is a trade that I've been working in for the last few years. But for this project specifically, it was the first, I would say, artistic endeavor through this process. And I'm just more than ecstatic to be a part of the team and to help everyone realize the physicality of this design. So thank you very much, everyone. And I'm excited to get to the panel roundtable.
Thank you so much, Chi-miigwech, Curtis. This was a collective project where everyone's role and responsibility really played a huge effect and impact on the actual final presentation of the artwork. Curtis's role in this was huge, and there was a lot of pressure, I'm sure, that he might have put on himself in terms of like the final effect of this installation. And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. This is something that is very new for me. For the past several years, I have been learning how to become a professional muralist through the street art program. And it's amazing to see how all the dots have connected and the network that came together in order to make this project come to life. It really went from being like a design I really didn't know if it was going to come to life or not. And I'm kind of getting used to the process of applying for projects and just, letting the outcome be what it be. But I was absolutely, I was ecstatic about being chosen for this project. And I just couldn't wait to see the installation come to life. So I just want to take this opportunity now that everyone's had a moment to just briefly, introduce themselves and say a little bit about the project. And we're going to jump into the Q&A now. So before that, I just really wanted to say a genuine Tk'əmlúps. I am deeply thankful for all of you and your contributions. And I've learned so much. I just can't thank you guys enough for helping me as an artist. One thing that I've always really been keen on is trying to remain as much of a student of life as I possibly can. And I absorbed so much knowledge from all of you. And you have all contributed to something so meaningful to me that it's beyond words of how thankful I am. So I just want to say, in my language, the most sincere way I know how to say thank you is Tk'əmlúps, from all of who I am, all of my being. So for the Q&A, I'll just kind of leave it open at first. If you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A and I will ask the artists. But I do have some questions that we have kind of prepared. So the first question I see is by Jennifer, and it says, how long will the mural be up? Is it temporary or permanent? If anyone would like to answer that, please feel free.
Well, I think I can jump in if no one minds. So, I think we initially, on all of the messaging, we talked about a temporary. I think the material that we used has a lifespan of at least 5 years. So it's really up to a kind of discussion with the administration, but certainly I don't think we should be in a rush to take this down. It's a beautiful piece, and it's durable, and it was installed beautifully, of course. So I think we don't have a fully defined timeline, but it's certainly well beyond what we initially expected, I think. So, initially we talked about it being up for only like less than a year, but I think there's a lot more interest now and continuing to keep it up.
Amazing. Thank you, Nini. I have some questions that are just kind of like for anyone who feels like, it gravitates towards them. Please feel free to go ahead and answer these. The first question that I have is, what have you learned from this project?
I think Elder Watergoon should answer that question because she started us on this path. So I think that she should really share. You're muted, Elder.
Absolutely, I will share what I have learned. I have learned, like, I'll echo Q's thoughts and words. We've learned so much from each individual here that we don't stop learning. We have to remember to use our ears and listen and be quiet for a minute to actually hear what everybody has to offer. Rob and Carol and all have something to share. The people that this team that I worked with is just incredible. To be able to have this group come together and work together, and and be one. It was so exciting. I think one of the things that I learned was to and how one step that I guided the team on was slowing down. Was slowing the whole thing down at the beginning, because I felt that we had to take time to build a relationship with our community first, and bring in all Indigenous peoples to, like, the photographers, the artists that did that did some of the artwork graphics for us, that sort of thing. And I think that it's really important for relationship building to happen before we can move forward in a good way. So that's one thing that that I've learned from the project, is slow down, build relationships. Miigwech.
Chair Miigwech, thank you, Elder Wabigoon. Just going to move into the next question right away. And again, if there's any of these questions that gravitate to you, please don't hesitate to answer. My second question is directed to any of you as part of our group. What was your aspiration for this project, and do you think you achieved it?
I'd love to answer that question in my point of view. You know, the one thing that when I seen this mural, and I brought it up when I was talking, was the seniors at the Wigwaming Terrace at Spadina Bloor, and how much it would mean to them to walk by going to First Nations House, to University of Toronto, because of some of our elders teach there and some of our seniors teach there. How beautiful it would be for them to remember with a beautiful mural put on top of them and have it in front of First Nations House. Me being a student at that school, it was beautiful to see, because this is something that needed to happen. And the 94 calls, because there's only one 94 call that happened within the school, I think we need to have a lot more of those calls of actions being in place everywhere in community. So this really brought out the fact that we need to continue using our voice as Indigenous people. We need to continue having the support of our residential school survivors, day school survivors, 60 school survivors. And we also really need to support the Indigenous students that go to University of Toronto, because we also know how colonizing a Western viewpoint could be for us as visual learners. And this is something that's exciting me to learn and continue using my voice to move further. I hope I answered it instead of rambling.
Oh, that was a great answer, Miigwech. If anyone also has an answer that they would like to add to as for the same questions before I go to the next one, please feel free. And if not, I can easily just move on to the next question. We do have a question in the Q&A by Colin. So without further ado, I'll just ask this question. It says, could we hear a bit about the new title for the work? And I'll answer that question. So the new title of the work, when I did create the design, I didn't give it a title. I felt like it was self-explanatory, but the message and the layers of the things that I created and I put into the original design. But I recently actually had an opportunity to invite my mom, and I actually flew her into Toronto, gave her I gave her an experience that I've dreamed about being able to do as a son for his mother. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. I spent a month with my mom without an agenda, just spending quality time together, being in the moment, and just feeling like we lived with each other again, like when I was being raised. And I took my mom on a tour, and it was a mural tour. I wanted to show her some of the artwork I've created in the city. But because my mom is the age, she's 75 now, and she walks with a cane, I really couldn't take her to everything that I created. But I wanted to show her the main artworks that I've been inspired from to create for her. And this was one of them. The name that we came up with was actually a name that my mother reminded me of, a way of inviting family and friends to ceremony, during the ceremony. And the word that she reminded me of is Ambe Ma Gada. Ambe Ma Gada is a way of inviting someone who is who you've made eye contact with, or who is in the same area as you, and you are inviting them in with all of your good intentions, only good intentions, and you're inviting them in to come with you, like, come here, come join us. There isn't an exact translation. My language, Anishinaabe Moan, is very sophisticated. We don't dance around our description. We give an exact description for things. This is an exact way of inviting people in. It's our way of it's showing our etiquette of how polite we are to each other, to the amount of respect we emphasize towards each other. And this project really is an actual living medicine wheel, because it took basically the nation, a multiple group of nations to contribute to this creation. And I was raised with this tool that I use called the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel actually has, it symbolizes a lot of things. There's multiple layers, but one of those layers symbolizes what it looks like when humanity comes together and works together and we form that perfect circle. And it represents the original nations of humanity. So it has the yellow nation, the black nation, the white nation, and the red nation. And when we all work together, this is the potential of what we can do. And this project really, really shows what the potential of the medicine wheel's powers are. So the name itself, it's a traditional Anishinaabe Moan phrase, and it's describing an invitation that has good intention of you to come join us in this ceremony. Okay, so I'm also a little, I get sidetracked with my when I'm talking, so I hope it wasn't too long of an answer. So the next question, I'll leave it open for anyone. Or maybe this question that says, what else would you like to see come from this project?
I think, Michelle, you should answer that question because you've been working with us for the whole time.
Thank you, Nini. I think one of the greatest things about this project is how much it continues to grow with all the many partnerships, not just the speakers here, but many other groups and students. So as a student, I'm gonna focus on their involvement. I think we're very excited for the artist workshops that Q will be leading this semester on the Anishinaabe medicine wheel, circular thinking, the duality teachings, and medicine wheel. I think I missed one. The 7 grandfather teachings. Yes, thank you. So we're very excited for that. I know for the red dot installation on the very first day, there were like so many students who came in for that, and I think they'll definitely be interested in the call for art, which is a very generous invitation from Q. But I think more importantly, learning about decolonization in our curriculum is very important, and like it's great to connect with more Indigenous artists and community groups, but also like taking the steps to learn it by ourselves and also in school. I'm not sure if anyone else would like to add anything, but yeah.
I might jump in just to follow up on what Michelle's saying. I think it's just really exciting that the mural has been the site for so many events and for so many people to gather. So we've had events on Orange Shirt Day. We did a whole slew of events and screenings and ceremony during Treaties Week. And I know we're all online on Zoom, but it's really exciting to think about how the mural can, again, in the future, be a site for us to gather, to be in community, and think of all these incredible events. We've already had so many in the past, and I'm really excited for us to do that again. So thank you.
Amazing. Chami Gwedge, thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah, so I think things that, like we think a lot as a team. So when we started this project, Elder Wabagoon, you know, it was a very first time for all of us to kind of meet. She's taught us so many teachings every time we meet. She teaches us things, and we think really long and hard, and we worry a lot about what can we do to make sure that this project reaches the most people? How can it continue to have impact? How can what Q's message embedded in this mural, how can we get that to be part of the conversation, you know? And so we have additional exciting things that we're working on that I think really you know, for any community member here, if you want to get involved, come join us. You know, some of the things that we're working on include an educator's guide. So a way that we can basically have young people learn the lessons in this mural, right? And start to understand and think about their Indigenous community. And every single day I learn something. We make mistakes along the way. We learn from them. We continue on. And it's been like an amazing journey, and one that we're so proud of. Like everything from, you know, I think Curtis, when we approached the whole idea of how to install this piece, it was not easy. We were terrified. We didn't want, you know, Q to be hanging off this building. We approached a couple of different vendors. We didn't have enough funding. We approached street art to support like every step along the way. And like, you know, I think Curtis showed us like how he was going to install, and it was like a really non-impactful way to install on our building instead of putting heavy equipment on the site. We met as a group and we made decisions collectively. It's not easy working as a group, you know, there's different opinions, there's lots of emotions and like learning. And we, like I said, we make mistakes. We have to apologize to each other from time to time. Like it's an imperfect world, right? But I think all of this has been incredible. And we're continuing to work on these projects. We will be doing an event, and we're hoping to have other artists who've done Indigenous work on campuses, particularly. We're hoping we can have that at the site. So these are some of the things that we're working on, but like, I think Elder Wabagoon or any of the others too, like it'd be great to hear your perspective on this too, of what you think might be a good thing to do in future and how we can continue to expand on this. Elder Wabagoon, you're muted.
I think this round dance, if there was that, you know, that picture that came from Streets TO, that picture really sort of validated the thought that I had earlier on in the year about having a round dance. And I think that it's an opportunity to bring so many people together. How about we have like 2 or 3, you know, lines going out around, not just one circle, like having 2 or 3 circles of people doing that round dance. And that would mean getting the police involved and having them, you know, cut off Spadina College for a minute and stop traffic and whatnot. I think it's important. I think it's important for people to come and learn, to listen, to join in. This is an open invitation to all the people. City of Toronto has contacted us for this to be part of something. You know, we've had many different people, you know, sort of saying, I get texts and emails either congratulating the team on this mural, or it is saying, where is it? How can I visit it? How can I bring my team to see it? So I think that we, you know, with COVID and the restrictions, it's making it just a little bit difficult. But when we do get back to gathering once again, and we will open this up. And this, where the building is, down in the little gully sort of placement down there, that whole window raises up and exposes the robot that's there. And on the sides of the building, I'm pointing at it like you can see what I'm pointing at. On the sides there's been ideas about Nipissing First, my youth group Planting Medicines, designing a design for having the 4 sacred medicines there. And it's a different land management there. So, but I think it's important that we open this up and have different gatherings here. Of course, we did the Treaties Week here, and Orange Shirt Day. So we'll continue to have all these events at this building. I think that I'd kind of like it to be like a really cool kind of hub for all these events. And I know that we can make it happen. I wanted to just lastly say about the team, and Nini was saying about how well we work together. And the reason for that is because it's, I don't know whether you can see this, but it's like a stick. And it's because we aren't here, and we aren't here, or we're not here, or we could be here, but we're not above or below one another. We are all the same. There's no hierarchy in our team. It's just one level working space. And that's what I noticed, that how we work so well in this way, because somebody had asked me about barriers. And I don't think that there have been a lot of barriers that I've experienced, because we keep this method of working all as one, and nobody's better than anybody, you know, that sort of thing. So it's important when you have such a large team, because this is just a small part of our team. It goes way beyond. We had 5 advisory panelists, you know, and they're busy with classes and theses and whatnot, or work, and couldn't be here today. But there are other people that I think of the inside of a tree, you know, the circles inside of the tree. At the very middle is the mural, and then all the outer circles keep building outward like this. And because relationships are being built from saying, let's say, made to measure, now is introduced to street art, and then they become friends. So that connection of people just keeps on building. And you'll be able to recall saying, well, how did you meet? And they would say, oh, well, I met through this mural at Daniels. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. Miigwech.
Chair Miigwech, Elder Wabagoon. This next question, I'd kind of like everyone to have an opportunity, if they'd like, to give an answer, to share something, some of their thoughts on the question. It says, how would you say this experience is different from any other project you have worked on in the past?
Who's going first? Carolyn, do it.
I'm happy to jump in on this one, sure. Well, certainly most of the projects that Street Art Toronto does and has been doing connect to hand-painted murals in one way or another. But we have been expanding to a certain extent into some vinyl projects. But I would say really the depth of relationship that was cultivated in this project, although we like to think, I think at Street Art Toronto, that we do quite a bit of work at developing relationships, but really, and hats off to Elder Wabagoon, starting us off in ceremony, and the whole week of really deeply integrated programming around Treaties Week. I know others have said this too, but I have to say that really, we always say at Street Art Toronto that it's the teachings in Indigenous murals that are so rich. And so making sure that there's that opportunity to really amplify those teachings with the art as a jumping off point, it is so important. And it really felt like in such a deep way, that was something that was achieved in this project. And I just wanted to add one thing in response to the last question also was the idea that, how about an opportunity for this project to live on even, after it's not on Daniels, if that day ever comes, but an opportunity to document it through a feature film or something like that, getting interviews and conversations with each of you, everybody that's been involved along the project, as well as some of the key important teachings that need to be shared in relation to this work. So with that, I'll toss it over to someone else.
Chair Miigwech. Anyone else have an answer they'd like to share?
Yeah, I'll go. Is my voice on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, this project is very different from any vinyl mural project that I've worked on, and mainly because of the sort of ceremonial qualities to the project. Like Carolyn said, about starting with ceremony and ending in ceremony, and also just the artistic merit that was associated with the actual production of the artwork itself. Normally with the vinyl, it's a lot more commercial purposes that will be utilizing this method, but this was the first time where it had been solely for artistic, historical conversations, and it just bears a different weight being in that realm than anything I've done before, and it holds much more weight than a lot of the work that will be done, simply just because of the impact that it has on all the people that it touches, all the people involved. And in that way, there's no way to really even compare this project to any of the other work that I've done, because yeah, it holds that weight, and that's felt throughout the entire process and extensively afterwards, because we're all here, we're all talking about it and just feeling out that process, and it's remarkable. So thank you.
Chair Miigwech, thank you for your answer. Would anyone else like to jump on, or should
I
go on?
would quickly.
Thank you, Robin.
So this is different in a lot of ways because it's about community healing, community gathering. As Q mentioned, it's about gathering all nations together to create that balance on that medicine wheel, and to create that balance within each other in a community whole in Toronto, and to hold each other's back and to hold each other up, and I see so much more. I just want to add on to Elder Wabagoon's vision about the round dance. Oh, when I seen that picture, just when in the beginning, I could so picture all of us doing the round dance, and not only that, creating maybe four spaces behind, and in the middle of that circle with that building could stand those seniors and elders and have those youth behind them, as well as all our Indigenous community, and then our allies behind. And then that shows that whole balance. I just feel that balance. I have goosebumps all over. I'm really emotional right now. I feel like crying so much, but it's out of good tears.
Chair Miigwech, Robin, thank you so much. I'd just like to also give a quick answer too for this, because this was something very unique for me, for the first time. It was a first time project for me. So I was really outside of my comfort zone the entire time, but not in a way where I was discouraged. I was just like, I didn't know how it was going to get done, possibly, like how it could get done. Got to give a big shout out to Curtis for doing it in a way where, like, I felt it was legendary because of how fast it was and the quality of how it was put up. It was like, I was so happy after I just saw a first couple of pieces going up, and I just knew. But it's still a surreal experience for me because I didn't actually get a chance to get involved in that process. I watched it, but like, as an artist, there's the satisfaction of being able to put that final stroke of paint on the wall and then walk away and say, that's it, it's done. So to give my artwork design to someone and them be the master and finish it for me, it was a legendary experience for me. I've never been part of a production like this. So for me, it's just I'm still learning a lot from the memory of all the stuff that happened. And yeah, it was a beautiful experience for me overall. Are there any other answers that anyone else would like to share for this question, or should I move on to the last question?
I just have a quick comment, is that I too, much like Hugh says, is I have to pinch myself every time I go by that mural. And it still has that impact of seeing it for the very first time. It took my breath away. And you know, and I continue to have that experience every single time. I just go in for coffee, I come back out and I look at it again, and again, it happens again. It just blows me away. And if I ride by in a taxi, I was like, we did that. And the taxi driver, what, lady? I said, we did that. No, really? So there's been a lot of people that have had that experience of going by and seeing it going, oh my gosh, you know. And some people will stop. Some people, you know, have to be careful when you drive by there. So miigwech.
Chair miigwech. I guess we're nearing the end now of our presentation. And before we sign off and farewell each other, I'd just like to leave the floor open now for all of us. Anyone have any last remarks or any comments or anything you'd like to add at this moment? It's just amazing. I feel like I've said enough, but I really would like to give everyone the floor now. And just anyone has anything to say about anything, any comments whatsoever, I'd just like to give you this opportunity now to please share.
I just want to share. So, you know, one day when we were at the building, I could see through the window a group of small children gathered, looking at the mural. And there's something so special about seeing young people just staring adoringly up at the window. And I'm really excited to also start working with youth. So our plan is to actually have some youth workshops. And so, you know, as we kind of test our educator's guide, something that we'll share with school teachers, you know, I think that is going to be a really exciting next phase of work. And I can't wait to kind of work on that. We found an educator, an Indigenous educator, Lena Recollet, who's going to be working with us. So I think that's super exciting. And I think, Robin, you talked about the elders, and Elder Wabigoon has been sharing that too. And so we're excited to potentially have a visit and bring the elders to the site and have them meet with students and with Q and, you know, really encourage that community. I think this project, I've worked on many projects, but what makes this project so unique is this community and this sharing, this knowledge that is shared by our Indigenous community members so freely and so openly. I think that's been so amazing.
Miigwech. Anyone else?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to the team that I was working with that helped me with the installation. Now, there's been a lot of mention about you know, my efforts to put the vinyl up and kind of finish off that portion, but I couldn't have done it without my team at Made to Measure, who really helped me throughout the entire process, physically realize, you know, the extent of this mural and just efficiently, you know, produce things to the point where I felt no issues with actually just, you know, hanging over the wall and, you know, dangling while seeing everybody down below. And so thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Miigwech.
I would like to also say one last thing, if I may. I just need to acknowledge Michelle, because she actually was kind enough on her spare time in the summer to help me learn how to apply online and literally help me with everything. I couldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't have been chosen for this design if it wasn't for Michelle's help with helping me with the application process. I have a thing that's called being contrary. And so reading, writing have been extremely challenging my whole life. And I really have to acknowledge Michelle. I told her how grateful I was from the moment that she got involved and she took initiative to help me. But I really must acknowledge her right now because, you know, like I always look at the cause and effect of things, the small picture to the big picture. Right now, we're looking at the big picture of all the collective. But before we got started and before I was even, before I even thought, you know, that this would come to life, Michelle was there from the very beginning and she walked me through the process. So Tk'əmlúps, Michelle, I couldn't have done this without you, and Elder Wabagoon as well equally. I am so appreciative of both of your initiative to just encourage me to apply for this project. Anyone else would like to share a final remark or comment?
Just want to thank everybody for being a part of this project, for being there when you know something was going wrong on my end. Things were fixed like that, and if I suggested something, it was done before it got out of I finished the thought. It's just incredible to work with such an incredible team, and I am truly, truly grateful. I say, miigwech, 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 miigwech.
Amazing. Miigwech. Is there any other final remarks?
Thank you so much, Q, and to everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Q, for being such a great MC, to our lovely speakers, Elder Wabagoon, Robin, Carolyn, Nini, Aiden, and Curtis, and to our many supporters. Please stay tuned for more public programming this year, the mural's continued installation on the inside, and the rest of the DesignTO Festival, which lasts until January 30th. There's an audience survey in the Zoom chat. There is also a People's Choice Award, which ends January 31st. The Daniels Mural Project is listed under window installation. So here's the link for that. Okay, I will copy that in later. As we walk together on this path to truth and reconciliation, we really couldn't do this without the community. And yeah, the future is coming. So thank you, everyone.
Miigwech. Anyone else have a final remark they'd like to share, or should I close, or should I let Elder Wabagoon close our circle?
So I just want to thank everybody for coming and for having the questions, prompting us with the questions and listening to us about our journey. Each individual person has had their own journey on this path. So we are truly grateful. We thank our Creator every day. I've laid so much tobacco and asking for things, and also keeping it, you know, in gratitude as well. The offerings of tobacco and gratitude. So as we close this time, I wish you and bid you a good day. You know, Gijigat and Apachiko Chimiigwech Bisandawi. Thank you very much for listening.
Miigwech. Okay, I think we are going to be done, right? In Anishinaabe Moen, we never say goodbye to one another because it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as I'm never gonna, you know, goodbyes. We do say one word that's really beautiful, and it's Bamapi. And Bamapi means that I will see you later. So I just like to say this, take this opportunity to share that with all of you. So Bamapi.
Bamapi.